Hello, my loves, and welcome back to a brand new podcast episode here on my podcast, on my YouTube channel. I'm your host, Jules Bellard. I'm an entrepreneur, coach. I do lots of things on social media, UGC creator. I also grew my audience to over 40,000 amazing human beings on Instagram within just a couple of months. So, yeah, if you are not following me yet, please make sure to follow me at Jules Bellard. I wanted to say my Instagram handle from like a few years ago, but no, that's the one, Jules Bellard. And if you are completely new, also, of course, you can subscribe to the channel. I'd be so happy to have you here. Now, if you are coming back every single week, thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the support. And if you clicked on this video, it is most likely for a reason because you are interested in how to actually lose that fear and start taking big action steps and start making shifts and start just making 2025 your year. When we talk about fear, I think in the beginning it's very important to, and that's like, I would say, the first thing that I do. And I've had those situations many, many times where I was scared of something, but I also knew that this is the exact step that I need to take in order to reach my goal or in order to manifest that thing or that person or get closer to where I wanted to be. And the first thing is to actually acknowledge the fear. Being like, okay, fear, I see you, I hear you, I know you're there. Because it's like this tiny little voice that just comes over and over again. And it's always like, ah, I'm here, like, nah. So acknowledge it, right? You know it's there. And also be like, what kind of like fear is that? You know, is it the fear of judgment? Is it the fear of failure? There's also a fear of success, actually. What happens if I get that brand deal or if I land a new job opportunity where I get paid so much more? Like, what happens if I suddenly blow up on social media and yes, I'm like super successful? I mean, am I going to make more money? Are there going to be people who maybe judge me, or will they see me for someone else that I'm actually truly who I'm like? Yeah, will they see me for someone else that I'm actually am? All those things. So, what kind of fear is holding you back right now? And then, what is really important is to reframe that fear once that you know more or less what you're scared of, what you're afraid of. Reframe that fear and understand that fear is actually not the enemy. Comfort is. Let me say that again. Fear is not the enemy. Comfort is. The moment that you stay comfortable, the moment that you know you could reach higher, do more, whatever. However, you still choose to stay stagnant. You still choose the comfortable path over the unknown, over the scary, over the uncomfortable. That is when you have to kind of like confront the situation and be like, whoa, wait a second. I'm way too comfortable. And what does comfort mean? It does not mean growth. It does not mean making you up level and getting you to the next chapter or to the next level. So, what I always love to do when I am scared, when I have this fear of the unknown or of what's going to happen, I always like to do a couple of things. So, that's what I'm going to share with you right now. I really like to, and also for you, to see when that fear comes up, as I said, reframe it and actually see, like, hey, it's a good thing because that fear means growth and potential. Me being scared of leaving that relationship behind, for example, or me being scared of being alone or starting a new job or traveling across the globe or moving countries, it's so perfect. Like, it's actually really, really good that I feel that fear. Because with this fear, I can turn this fear around and I can prove myself wrong and I can become stronger through that. Or I can just, yeah, like unleash a new potential or a different side of mine or explore something that I didn't even know that I have or I do or I want. And also the exercise of, and I really highly encourage you to journal on that, is what actually is the worst that can happen? What's the worst that can happen? The worst that can happen, for example, is that I might be sad sometimes, I might cry, I might miss that person. If we talk about, for example, leaving a relationship, that's like the worst that can happen. Or maybe the worst that can happen is that I regret leaving that relationship behind, or that I regret moving across countries. But still, then, life is not over. There's always an opportunity for a second chance. I mean, sometimes there's not, but there's always a new door that will open when one closes, or sometimes even five. It's always like this learning along the way. And that when you trust, and here comes like the hardest thing of all, when you take that messy action, when you just go for it, when you just apply for the job, when you just pack your bags and leave, trust. You need to trust. You have to have full body trust mode on, believing that this is for my highest good. And I actually am in this process right now. I'm just going to share that really openly with you and be really vulnerable as always. I am in this process right now where I don't know what's ahead. I don't know. I am just going to trust. I have no plan. There's no plan right now for me. However, I do trust God, universe, source, the higher realm, divine, whatever you want to call it, whatever you believe in. It doesn't matter the name. You believe in something higher, right? And something bigger than you. And if you can trust and just surrender and just be like, you know what? And tell yourself every single day, again, that's an exercise I do every single day. I listen to affirmations, I write down, I trust. Sometimes I tap. Just during the day, I just tap, I trust, I trust, I trust. Whenever there's some uncertainty coming up or sadness or whatever I'm going through in this grieving process, also, I trust. And I want for you to repeat that mantra as well, that you trust. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need to see what's behind the corner or what's waiting for you in order to take that action either. And there's also this expression of like failing forward, which kind of a coach, she one time told me, it's like the failing forward method or like process, whatever, where it's like every single time that you fail, quote unquote, fail, right? It's actually a lesson that brings you closer to your goals. If you see life, if you can see it from that perspective with those eyes of like, actually, this hardship or this failed relationship or this just yet another job that didn't go well and I want to quit or I got fired, it's a lesson. I am learning something from that situation and it's going to make me stronger. As I said, it's going to bring me closer to what I want, to ultimate fulfillment and happiness. Okay, and before we finish up this episode, I just want to give you two more steps on the way, or two more tips or just things that I think is really important to talk about. And that's one, of course, the building confidence to taking then those big action steps where it's like you're not born with this confidence. The confidence is built just like a muscle at the gym. And if you want to trust yourself with the decision that you make and you're like, I don't know how or when, or I don't even have evidence that this is the right decision, but I'm choosing to trust my gut feeling. I choose to listen to it and just take it as a sign that if I feel this within myself and just a tiny little voice inside of me says it's the right decision, I trust it. It doesn't matter what other people say. It doesn't matter what the circumstances are. I trust myself. It is built over time. It doesn't come from one day to another. It's built with just every single time, tiny little action steps or situations where you're like, okay, I trusted myself. And how did it turn out? Like pretty amazing, right? I'm actually where I am right now because back then I trusted this or that decision. That goes hand in hand, obviously, with like tools that I said, like affirmations, visualization also, things that help you manifest then even faster, and understanding that if you want to manifest your goals, you need to let go of things or people or circumstances that don't serve you and don't serve that version of you who is living her dream life. There are certain things that just don't go along, and it's so hard to become that new version and to leave the old past version of yourself behind. I know that. I know how hard it can be. But trust yourself that you got this. You're strong, you're powerful, you're beautiful. You're so protected and guided and loved by God, universe, source, whatever. You got this. Yeah? And the last thing, you do get to have your safety net. This is not a comfort zone. This is a safety net. It's not a comfort zone. There's a big difference. But you do get to have a tiny little plan B in your head. That's okay. You do get to have this safety net and create it for you, where you're brave, but you're not reckless. You know what I mean? You know, still, if I decide to do that, it's not going to be completely irresponsible. So this is your sign to go for that big risk that you've been wanting to take, or that you wanted to commit to, but you just never knew if it's the right decision or not. Trust your gut. Trust yourself. Yes, it'll be hard. Yes, there'll be times where you doubt your inner voice or you doubt the path, but you got this. Okay? And if you want, I'm a coach, you can always slide into my DMs even without buying my products or my coaching services or joining my courses. You can always talk to me at Jules Bellot. Leave a comment if this helped you as well. And I send you so much love, so much strength. I love you, and I see you next week.